Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live at Lunchtime Volunteer Training. Um, Today's is going to be on meeting the staff at HSNBA. Honestly, it couldn't have come at a better time because just this month we've had several new staff members come in. So this will kind of help you guys get introduced to them in case you haven't met them yet. So we are just going to jump right in. Before I go into the staff members, though, there's some things that I found that are kind of interesting in regards to animal welfare as a whole. So oftentimes you guys will come in and surprise somebody has left the organization, or surprise we have a new member or two. So with that being said, it's important to understand that the national average of turnover rate in any industry across the United States is going to be 18%, but animal welfare is at 28.9% average turnover. And a quarter of those organizations have a 50% or higher turnover each year. And some of the reasons that kind of contribute that, the biggest one is going to be compassion fatigue, also known as secondary traumatic stress. So this is just from the daily exposure to losing animals, viewing neglected or animals that have been abused, things like that. Dealing with grieving families. You know, we do offer end-of-life services at our facility because we truly believe that no animal should suffer or live with no quality of life. So we're dealing with a lot of sick animals and animals that we're just not sure if they're going to make it or not. So it takes a very heavy toll, even on volunteers, fosters. We do see that with them as well. So this is not limited to staff members. So we're always having a high turnover, and I would imagine that's the number one thing that we see in our facility is the compassion fatigue and burnout. Also, heavy workloads. Lower compensation is often a factor just because most of the humane societies are going to be nonprofit organizations. So these aren't companies that are making billions of dollars every year. So you definitely go into it doing it for your passion for animals, not for the pay. Difficult interactions with the public make it very difficult. This primarily falls on our front desk staff, animal control officers, and any kind of leadership or organizational challenges that might be within the facility. Again, anywhere you work, you know, there might be some kind of things going on behind the scenes, but honestly, at our facility, I think we do pretty well. Everybody is really team oriented, I feel, from what I've observed, but again, it's the compassion fatigue, the burnout, frustration from any kind of interactions that are less than ideal, from people reclaiming or things like that. So that's kind of our tough area there. Now, another study in 2023 found that those associated with animal welfare, they typically one in two had a high score of burnout, and 9 out of 10 had high secondary traumatic stress, or compassion fatigue. So we are dealing, when you walk into the shelter, if you've got 10 staff members standing there, 9 of them are going to have a lot of anxiety, depression, fatigue. They might be easily frustrated. That's a common one we see. When you're really at your peak of compassion fatigue, one little thing that isn't even significant can put you over the edge. And typically it has nothing to do with whatever it was in that instance. This is stuff that we're harboring inside, and eventually it peaks. We hit our top point, and that's where we kind of will have these bursts of emotional outrage. So you do see this oftentimes. It is not, it's usually not a people thing. It's an animal. It's pain for animals consistently is what kind of triggers these issues that we have emotionally, mentally. So that's why I always tell you guys, have compassion, not just for the staff, for yourselves, for other volunteers, for our foster families. We are all working in this together. I put a high compassion level out there for our cat fosters specifically. Many, if not all, of our kitten fosters have had a kitten pass away in their home. It just goes with the territory. It's nothing that they did wrong. It's nothing that staff did wrong. It's the fact that they came into our facility. They were too little. They were without mom. Maybe they, became ill either before coming in or after arrival. Either way, it takes a heavy toll. This is the worst part of the year, is from about April till approximately October. And the kittens especially have a lot to do with that, as well as dogs when they're having long lengths of stay. So I thought this was some good information just to kind of help you guys have a better understanding of why you see staff member turnovers so frequently in our facility. And it's not just going to be us, it's going to be any rescues, humane societies, animal shelters, even vet clinics sometimes have this issue as well. So just have compassion. We're all in it together. If you're feeling some type of way, understand that there are others feeling the same way. So never feel like you're alone in any of this. So at our facility, we kind of have, I don't want to say a chain of command. This isn't a military operation here, although some days it feels like one. But basically, this is kind of how we fall. Obviously, at the top, we have our board of directors. Now, our board of directors, I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong here, these particular board members are doing this as volunteers without pay. Okay, so their job is to kind of oversee what we're doing, making sure everything's running smoothly, making sure we're not falling short on funding, and also helping us to distribute funding to where it's most needed, what's going to be the best use of our resources. And then obviously Sarah is right under the board of directors. She is the captain of this ship. So she is the one that is taking information directly from the board of directors to relay it to us. If we have anything, we can always go to Sarah and she can present it to the board as well. I think usually most of, any concerns we have are usually handled in-house, just because it is usually animal related. So she's at the top of the chain here, and then under her we have Will. Will is the assistant director, but I feel like his list of duties far exceeds anything I could fit on one page. I mean, he's our IT guy. He's Mr. Fix-It. Anything anybody needs, and it looks like I spelled assistant wrong. I put a D instead of a T, so that's a typo. Anything anybody needs. If anybody has a question on how to do something, anything, this guy will be able to tell us or help us. Yeah, he is the help for everyone in the facility, so he wears many hats. And then we also have Zach. Zach is the director of community outreach. So when you guys see emails or posts that I do asking for help with events, you're going to see that the point of contact for these events is going to be Zach. Zach is the one that organizes every event. He was the original creator of our Meet Your Match events. So if you guys have specific questions, sometimes I can answer them, but he's your best resource just because he's the organizer. He has spoke directly with the locations, if it's a store, or we do a lot with different housing areas, things like that. He is the best source of information, anything directly related to events. Myself, I am obviously your volunteer coordinator. I hope everybody watching this knows that, considering I'm your primary point of contact, and I'm the one who is always reaching out to you guys and providing you with information. So, but if you didn't know, now you do, I guess. And then we have Sam. Sam is the director of operations. She is overseeing all of the customer care technicians. She is managing and keeping track of all the outcomes for the facility, finding pathways out for everybody, things like that. She's kind of, again, at the front managing everything in regards to intakes, outtakes, staff, all of that. Below her, she's obviously going to have her customer care techs. Those are all the gals up at the front desk. We have Calvin, who is our dog behavior and enrichment coordinator. So he is the one that you guys are with for dog play groups. Any questions you might have dog related, he's a great resource. Um, and this is our staff organizational chart, but I want to also kind of say under Calvin, I do have multiple lead dog play group, or I'm sorry, lead dog volunteers. Um, they kind of fall under him. So I've chosen a few, but I like to give that right to Calvin. Anybody he feels is a huge asset in regards to dogs, we can promote them up, and they kind of fall under him. He's going to guide them on where he needs help. If he needs to do behavior evaluations on dogs, he'll pull his lead dog volunteers. For play groups, he'll align volunteers, things like that. And then we have Jenna, who is our foster cat coordinator. Um, she also has volunteers under her called the Kitten Crew. That is a new group of volunteers as of this year, because this year has been pretty tough. Pretty tough. We've taken in, I think, more cats and kittens this year than any of the previous years. So her new Kitten Crew is handpicked of volunteers that are very familiar with kittens, especially neonates. They are helping her with getting updated weights to make sure everybody's growing and healthy. They could be tending to the kittens, whatever Jenna needs. That Kitten Crew helps her out and makes sure that everything is taken care of. All the kittens are taken care of and happy and healthy while they're staying. We have EJ, which is our TNR coordinator. So she's in the same office as Jenna, and she is in charge of all the trap, neuter, return program. So all of the feral cats coming in, she's monitoring all of them, making sure that they are in fact feral. If they are not feral, they go into our adoption, our stray cat room, so they can get adopted out after surgery. She's also out there during surgery days and making sure that volunteers are returning them to where they need to go after surgery. Constantly monitoring all of that. But I do believe she's on vacation this week. And then we have Kira. Kira is our animal care supervisor until the 26th. She is leaving our facility onto bigger and better things, so we wish her well. She has been an amazing asset to our team. Not only is she a staff member, she originally entered while she was in high school as a volunteer. So she's been absolutely wonderful and definitely going to be a huge loss in regards to our animal care. And then under her, we do have all of our animal care techs. She does have a couple lead animal care techs. Maybe one of them will be moving up into her position. I don't have that information. But she manages all the animal care team and makes sure that everybody's getting cleaned, fed, watered. And she also assists whenever I have groups coming in. If they're going to be helping with animal care, she distributes those groups with the animal care techs to make sure that they have plenty of help as well while they're going through and cleaning. So first up, our leadership team. I think the most important member of the facility here is Mateo Allen. He is our only house cat. We've had so many house cats over the years, but Mateo still going strong 12 years later. So he came to us at about a year old. So he's about, what are we at? He's 13 years old already, which explains why his hobbies include napping pretty much all day. As you can see, it's not uncommon for him to fall asleep while sitting and watching the cars parking or the feral cats running in the fields. So he is our greeter. He's a great paperweight. He likes to, sleep on keyboards up at the computers, often changing notes in animal profiles or updating pet names with whatever the pet's name is, plus tons of letters and symbols behind it. We see it all the time. Usually we don't notice until we go to open a pet profile and we see that he's added his information in there as well. He also likes to throw up hairballs, but not, in quiet areas. He does it at the front desk, adoption hallway, anywhere that it's most likely to be stepped in. So his health is declining a little bit, but he still loves love. He's the best boy. Fun fact about little Mateo is that he actually came into the facility in 2014 with his brother Gordon, and Gordon was a house cat as well, up until I believe last year, when he did pass from old age. I don't know if I'm allowed to share this information, but it's too late now because we're already rolling live. Him and his brother Gordon were brought in through animal control from their home. Owner was passed away, and that's where him and his brother were, so then they became house cats. So great cats, wonderful cats. Rest in peace, little Gordon, and hopefully soon we'll find a new house cat to keep him company until he decides to retire. So Sarah, many of you probably know her. She's always, around the shelter, walking around. She'll visit with you. She's, great. Fun fact, she was born in Italy, which is pretty awesome. She's an avid thrifter. She loves gardening and crafts, and she previously worked in Austin. I want to say Austin Pets Alive. I could be wrong. But she's been with us since 2015. So already on her 11th year, still trucking. And then Will apparently has had the SWAT team called on him. I didn't ask questions because I thought it would be better to let your guys' imaginations run wild with how that happened. He enjoys tabletop RPGs, Magic the Gathering, reading. Most of you should know Will. Again, he's everywhere all the time. He came into our facility. His mom was on the board, so he pretty much grew up in the shelter. I will say his start date, August 4th, 2020, is not entirely accurate because much like myself and a couple others, he is a repeat offender. I think he left in 2019, if I remember correctly, maybe spring time, and then he ended up coming back after working at some vet clinic, or at a vet clinic, in between that time. Happens to the best of us. He couldn't remember when he very first started working at the facility, but I mean, he's got to be somewhere near a decade at HSNBA as well. But I don't have the exact time frame for that. Zach is from West Virginia. So he came up here originally. He was pretty much where Jenna's at now. He was managing all the cat fostering, things like that, until he transitioned into director of community engagement, started handling all the events and things like that. He's been in animal welfare for 10 years. One fun fact that I want to add that he didn't necessarily say is that last month, the end of last month, I think on the 28th or 29th, he was actually one of the speakers for the Best Friends Summit for South Texas. So he was a speaker at that, did amazing, talked about our Meet Your Match and how it came to be, and kind of some of the success we've had with that. He likes spending time outdoors, watching TV, reading, and listening to music. Zach is awesome. If you haven't volunteered at an event yet, definitely do so just so you can meet this guy. He's the best. Yeah, I've known him for 6 years now, so I really enjoy Zach. He still has his West Virginia accent, which is awesome. He's a great dude. He is working remotely like I do, so that's why you don't see him around the shelter too often. And then there's me. So I was at the facility from 2018 to 2020, and then I came back in 2023. After I left the first time, it was about 6 months later, in 2021, I was still doing spay and neuter clinics up until last year. So I did those for 6 years. I was still out there in the surgery suite, but not with the facility during that time. Couple fun facts about me. I have been published, my photography has been published in multiple magazines. I have, it's kind of stupid, three completely different college degrees, one in psychology, one in photography, and one in animals. I own over 75 animals. No, it's not dogs and cats. I don't have deceased cats in my freezer. It's livestock and a whole lot of birds and turkeys and ducks and things. That's why the number has escalated because of chicken math. Also, I was born in Northeast Wyoming, not far, maybe about 30 minutes from Devil's Tower National Monument, which was America's first national monument. If you guys don't know what Devil's Tower is, maybe you've seen Close Encounters of whatever kind, whatever that movie was called, that's Devil's Tower. I love traveling. I've been to 27 out of 50 states, which after meeting so many of you volunteers, I realize is nothing because you guys get out way more than I do. And then I've been to Mexico and Virgin Islands, outside of US. I like reading and writing. Decluttering and organizing are my jam, which is why I get so overstimulated inside the shelter with all the clutter. I love organizing. Woodworking, building anything. I love woodworking. I also like furniture restoration. Napping with my dogs on my day off, and music. I love music. I love going to concerts. I've been to a ton of concerts. I love it. So originally back in, let me think about this, 2013 I think is when I started volunteering in El Paso. I was volunteering there during the day while my kids were little tiny and in school. At night I was photographing concerts, and I would be out until probably 2, 3 in the morning photographing events. During the day I'd do modeling shoots and things like that too. It was not a good fit for me, because my husband would deploy a lot. My kids were little, and in school, and being up that late and trying to take care of kids during the day and things like that. It wasn't a good fit. Definitely, concert photographer is more in line with someone who does not have children. And then when I moved to San Antonio, I started volunteering at the San Antonio Humane Society. I was just doing model photography during my days, but I just kind of wanted to get out of that industry, and I knew I wanted to do something that was going to make a huge difference. I've always been a huge animal lover. I grew up in the country, so when I was thinking about what to do and I saw an ad for HSNBA hiring, I immediately applied and took it. So I've been working with animals ever since. Absolutely love it. Sam, same thing, huge heart for animals. You will see that that is a consistent trend among all staff members. We are obsessed with animals. Her fun fact, she is the commissioner for the shelter's fantasy football league. She loves football, and Pokemon cards. And her hobbies, card shop hunting with her husband, spending time with her 4 orange animals. That's another pretty consistent thing across all staff members. We seem to have types with our animals. Hers are all orange. My dogs, up until a year ago, were all like cream colored little small dogs. So it's weird, but it happens a lot. All right. Jenna has also been with us for a long time. When I met Jenna, I think her oldest boy was either a newborn or she was still pregnant with him. So she's been with us forever. Before she started actually working for HSNBA, she was actually with the New Braunfels Cat Coalition, which is our TNR program, before we took it over from the Cat Coalition. So she's been around forever helping out with cats. She's highly passionate about cats, kittens, very highly trained in kitten care, and very knowledgeable of medical issues, things like that. Sometimes she works remotely just because, again, she's got 3 littles, but oftentimes she is in the shelter, especially now with all the kitten fosters coming in and out and things like that. Her fun fact is she is a seventh generation Texan, and her ancestor was a map surveyor for Stephen Austin, which is pretty crazy. She likes traveling, crocheting, Legos. She did not say where this photo is from, but I'm gonna guess by the green and the sheep that this is from her Ireland trip that she went on, which is pretty awesome. Another place I have yet to make it to. And then also in our leadership, so Kira obviously is leaving us, but she has topped the database leaderboard on medical treatments administered because she pretty much does them all. Her office is in Cat ISO, so she's doing it all day, every day. She likes collecting hobbies, knitting, anything she can do with her hands while watching TV. It seems like knitting, crocheting is extremely popular among staff members, come to find out, which I think is great because that's definitely a good stress reliever at the end of the day. EJ, the TNR coordinator, she likes reading, drawing, napping. She stated, yes, she counts napping as a hobby. I do too. I don't see why it wouldn't be. And then Calvin, I believe Calvin is from Iowa, if I'm not mistaken. If he's not from there, he does spend summers there helping on a family ranch or farm, whatever they got going on. Fun fact, he was a spelling bee champion finalist. Awesome. And he likes sim racing. We have Kayla, the rescue coordinator. She just got promoted to rescue coordinator in May of this year, I think. I'm pretty sure it was May, around her employment anniversary. So she does have a couple daughters as well. Her uncle is a globally published author, which is awesome. I might be wrong on this. I asked her what his name was. I think she said Steven. I hope I'm not wrong on that. Hobbies, crocheting, and reading. We all like reading, too. Up front, we also have Kim, who is from Puerto Rico, which I just learned as of the other day when I was requesting this information from everybody. Again, with the crocheting and gaming, collecting and playing Pokemon. Gaming is also another one that a lot of these guys do. Dora, I believe, started out as a kennel tech. A lot of us did. A lot of times when we're promoting or we have positions come over, we will promote from within first, just because everybody's more knowledgeable of how things work. It's a little easier to transition into a new position. She can pop her right wrist infinitely, and I hope I never see it because I would probably cry. Building Legos, collecting trinkets, going shopping. We have Sadie at the front desk. She is on a 9-pin bowling league and plays softball. Again, I did not know that about her. She does her own nails, which if you look at her nails, you would not think that she does her own nails because they're always very, very nice. And she does diamond paintings. We have Liz up there. She says she's never traveled outside the country yet. Hopefully she gets to. It's definitely a must for life. She enjoys trying new things and collecting hobbies, like someone collects stamps, but she wanted me to really make it clear that she does not collect stamps. So, and then Paige is the only staff member I wasn't able to get information from. Paige is the newest staff or front desk staff member as of Monday. She is also a previous staff member, a repeat offender, to my knowledge, but I don't know if I've met Paige before. So if you guys see a new face up at the front desk, obviously it's not going to be the dog. That would be Paige. So welcome her, introduce yourself, make her feel as comfortable as you guys wanted to feel when you first came in. And then our animal care team, we have Tia. Now Tia is also Calvin's partner. They do a lot of behavior evaluations together. She helps a lot with the dog program as well. I wouldn't be surprised if one day she transitions into just being with the dog program versus doing animal care as well. Um, she enjoys video games, making jewelry. Trinity, former Marine Corps, enjoys outdoors and horseback riding. We have Laris. She actually, this is wild, used to be a police officer in the UK, which is insane to me. I'm not sure if her I'm not sure if she's married, if she is. I don't know if her partner's military or how that happened. I didn't get that information, but you guys can definitely ask her how she ended up in the UK. Enjoys video games as well, taking her dogs on hikes and spoiling her cat and dog. Cora. Cora is a new one as of last week. Um, she actually has a wildlife biology degree, which is super awesome. Recently went to Grand Cayman Islands, never been, on my list. Drawing, scrapbooking, and photography. We do have a lot of photography folks in here too, as well as Taylor. Taylor does wildlife photography as a side hobby, loves the outdoors, so that's pretty cool. A lot of definitely creative types seem to be more drawn to animals, it seems. Cassie, she likes flying kites, playing video games, cuddling with, oh, she has a dachshund. Remy. Allison has a lot of great hobbies. Same with Sierra. These two, I don't know how they find time for all of it. A lot of crafting, reading, photography. So, and apparently a lot of Monster Energy drinks on Allison's part. So thank God we have 2 coffee bars in the shelter for her to get through. And that's probably why she's been with us for over a year now, because we have plenty of caffeine to keep her going. We have Akil, so he's a basketball guy, loves playing basketball, good at it. That's what he does when he's de-stressing from work. Jasana, she just started working with us last month, traveling, watching TV, movies, and gaming. And then Sierra, of course, she's has so many unique hobbies. It's so cool to see these guys, which with such vast interests in addition to animals. Obviously, animals, I think, for all of us is number one. We have Ariel also that started the end of last month, so she's very new. She knows all the flags of the world, enjoys video games, readings, and collecting things she can't afford. We have Carly that started about 3 weeks ago, likes westerns, old country music, fishing, sculpting. I don't think, let me see, I don't think I've met several of these guys myself yet, just because, well, Wyatt started the last time I was in the shelter, but he was busy with Kira, you know, getting trained in and everything and getting started up, so I didn't get the chance to meet him either yet. He's lived in 4 states, born in California, lived in Colorado, Texas, and Kansas. Enjoys skateboarding, rock climbing, and general adventures. And rock climbing would be awesome. So this is just some stuff to kind of make you guys more familiar with this stuff. It's just fun to know a little bit more about everybody. And also, I think sometimes we forget we're humans too. You know, we have a life outside the shelter, even though most of us don't act like it. So there's more to us than just dogs and cats. It's pretty fascinating, really. Lot of things going on behind the scenes. A lot of these guys, a lot of the staff members are friends with each other outside of work. And it is very clear after learning more about them why that is, and it's because they share so many similar interests. So it's kind of crazy how closely aligned most of our hobbies are with each other, as well as us all having such a strong passion for animals. And I will go on to say, I see it on a lot of your guys' volunteer applications, these same things. The gaming, the photography, what else? Crafts, things like that. So there seems to be something that is really consistent among animals and creative outlets. So I haven't gamed since Super Mario back in the 90s. So I'm not really in that category, but for reading and everything, crafting, yeah, I do all that stuff too. So pretty cool. Now you know a little bit more about us. This video will be on Facebook for the next 2 weeks. So you guys feel free to go through it on your own time. If you hear a name of a staff member all the time and you're not really sure who it is, you can always put a name to a face now. Hopefully we are a full team now, with the exception of Kira leaving. Hopefully there won't be too many changes. If anything, it'll just be position names and things like that. But now you guys know the whole team. You have a reference. If you miss it, you don't see this video over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to put it on our YouTube volunteer resources page, just because we have a lot of long-timers right now. I talked about the rate of turnover, but honestly, if you look at a lot of these people, we're seeing several that have been with us for a couple years or more at this point, which is really good and not very common in this industry. So, have grace for these guys. Get familiar with them. Remember, we're one team. You don't have to be uncomfortable with anybody. We all have the same goal. So thank you guys so much for watching today. If you have any questions, if you have anything you want to learn about, I'm grasping at straws at this point, trying to find some stuff to teach you guys and help you learn. So any ideas, please be sure and reach out. Let me know what you want to know more about. If it's something I already have a training on, I will either bring it up to, current, or send that to you. But anything you guys want to know, let me know so I can get that information out to you. You guys have a good rest of your day. Today is my Friday, so you guys have a good weekend. Good luck at Meet Your Match, and I'll talk to you guys all soon.